Okay, stream's starting. Let me just tweet it out. Okay. Okay, we'll go live now. Oops. Forgot about the camera. Give me a few seconds. Mm. 2 seconds, okay? 2 seconds. And we're on. Sorry about this spinning image, guys. We'll just wait till we see how this works out. Anyway, we're going to be probably having a small podcast with just me and Green just to catch up on some things. But if Vinland or Trooper join in, we will take a moment to just we'll just continue on, but we'll let them speak. Anyway, I'm the Old Hunter, as you already should know. I do the Old Hunter reviews and also do some Reddit readings occasionally.
Oh, did you say and did you say something else?
No, go on. I'm done.
Okay. Oh, I am the Knight of Green. I'm a Soulsborne historical European martial artist who is making the Demon Slice animated series project, a series that's about bringing realistic martial arts to the Soul series.
And I gotta say, it's a really fun project, honestly. I kind of enjoy it a
thank
lot.
you.
Oh, come on. I've got to admit, it's a really fun little project just to basically have a little fun. You know, like we see these whole things about like gaming have some unrealistic. Like when I was streaming Final Fantasy VII, I was kind of complaining and how Cloud Sword is just. Can I say unrealistic, Green?
Oh, very much so. No ifs and or buts about it.
I know, but I know some people are going to say, if they're going to rewatch this in the comments this early on, that, but the sword could be made of lightweight material or something.
Yeah, do you know what would be better? Making it actually historical sizes and made out of that. Then it would just be this, like, weight of a dagger and you're swinging it as an ultra great sword. I mean, okay.
That's true. That's true. That's true. But, you know, this is not saying that From is innocent, but Square loves to... Then again, I think the one series that actually outdoes the ridiculousness on weapons is Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna act like they're innocent. Not at all.
If you, my friend, could defend Monster Hunter's weapons, then you, my friend, are a saint beyond saints. Because I couldn't. I couldn't even think.
Yeah, to be honest, I could not defend the Monster Hunter weapons. I mean, yeah, just thinking about them, no.
Yeah, that would be kind of impossible. Oh, yes, that would be very impossible. And because I already told Green about this, but do check out my streams. I'm streaming on Fridays 4:30. Better a little bit of self-work in here, just in case. But anyway, besides that, I've been just playing the Final Fantasy remake a bit, and because it was free this month, and I thought, why not give it a try? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just basically... Oh, I don't know how to put it. It's just basically how do I put this? I've never been the biggest Final Fantasy fan. I've never enjoyed this. I've only played 2 of the games. And I've never completed both of them. So if I complete Final Fantasy VII Remake, I can put it on the list. I finished a Final Fantasy game.
Uh-huh.
No, I still don't know if that's praiseworthy enough.
Hey, it's something.
I know, but frankly, I think Final Fantasy is one of those series that's just like this point, it's just dragging out long just to be in some relevance sometime.
Well, why do you think they remade 7, which is considered by most to be the most popular and iconic one?
I hear people say 8's better.
Yeah.
I
But
know.
I didn't say 7 was the best. I said it's the most iconic.
Iconic. I
Yeah.
know. But people say that 7's the best. Well, 6, 8 is the best. I get that analogy is confused. So, yeah, I just can never, what's the word I'm looking for?
Too many of them.
Yeah, there's too many of them, and I sometimes wonder, I think, like, along with Pokemon, don't get me wrong, it's an old franchise, it's one of the oldest franchises. But wait, hang on. Did Pokemon, wait, if my memory serves me, Final Fantasy came out first, correct?
I'd actually have to look that up. I actually do not know that off the top of my hand.
No worries. I don't know either, because frankly, I'm not into the whole... I played some of the Pokemon games when I was younger. I was a kid, so I'm gonna play them. But I've grown past it. I've not really touched a mainstream series since Black.
Don't blame you. Pokemon hasn't really, despite the fact that the game's about evolving, it doesn't really do much evolution in terms of mechanics.
They do try to spice it up with the megas and all that, but I feel like it's just basically adding a new... What's the word I'm looking for?
It's like mostly a one-off gimmick, honestly.
That's true at this point. At this point, it's a one-off gimmick because they try to remain relevant, but frankly, they fail constantly.
So, I know they're trying to doing a new thing, like they're remaking Diamond and Pearl as chibis for some reason, and they're making some Arceus Legend game, which just it looks like some sort of Breath of the Wild, Dark Souls fusion type of game with Pokemon.
I think it's sort of like an open world catch 'em. It's like an open world gacha game, like where you're just gonna literally catch them all. You know how Pokemon is just basically a linear JRPG?
Mm-hmm.
From what I've understood from the records, from the previews and everything else, it's gonna be an open world Pokemon game.
Look, I'm just mad they're doing Dark Souls rolls up in there.
Well, great. Now we're gonna great. You know, like great. Don't tell me you're gonna call it Poke Souls.
The Dark Souls of Pokemon games.
Oh god, that would be actually horrible thinking about it.
I'm not really excited for it because again, Pokemon never really like for example, for me, I really got in during like Gen 3. So like my soul goes out to Gen 3. But after that, it's kind of like they don't really do much with it. I don't really care too much about the newest Pokemon that much. I mean, some of them are cool, but yeah, it's kind of really after Gen 4, I really kind of stopped caring.
I was thinking of getting a Switch to try Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire because I have nostalgia for the original Gen 3.
You can play that on Switch?
Yeah. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. No, 3DS. I've been getting my games confused.
You need the 3DS, yeah.
Yeah, I was tempted.
I wish you could play it.
I was getting it tempted. I was tempted to buy it because Soul Silver, Pokemon Gold, Pokemon Silver. Those are red and green. They're. How do I put it?
Gold, Silver is a second gen.
I know.
First is Red, Blue, Yellow.
I know. Red, Blue, Yellow, then Gold and Silver. Those games are good for their times, but I felt like Pokemon, for me, I grew up on the third generation, Omega Ruby, Alpha... Ruby, Sapphire...
Ruby and Sapphire Emerald.
Yep.
And I guess Fire, Red, Leaf, Green, if you want to be technical, but yeah.
Those are technically the remakes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I played Soul Silver and I played Soul Heart Gold. Fun little game. Interesting gimmick, but I forgot about it.
Pokemon can walk beside you, and that seems to be hit or miss in the other games if they want to let it or not.
Yeah. And then, I know we're Souls guys, but we are talking about all that stuff. We're just like, for me, like, Pokemon is just it's like a nostalgia trip. It's cool when it first came out, but now it's just basically people who want to relive their childhood. I get you for being nostalgic, but there are other things in this world, and it's good to be nostalgic, but try to move out of that comfort zone, guys.
See, that's the thing that I like about like the Souls game, because the Souls games, for the most part, evolve with their mechanics. They don't really stay completely the same.
It depends on how people.
That's why I think I've said this before. Mm-hmm. I think Bloodborne, out of all the Souls-like games, I personally would argue that even though Demon Souls, of course, is my favorite because,
first one.
First love type of thing. I will honestly say that I think Bloodborne is the better game, and it's the best.
I can agree on that one.
And this is coming from a guy who's a loyalist to Demon Souls. Like, I absolutely love that game. I can't say.
I don't know worries. You need to defend yourself. I did play Demon Souls, but after playing 1, 2, 3, and Bloodborne, I kind of see the cracks in the original. Like, the mechanic and how the mechanics of the game, it's very... What's the word I'm looking for?
Archaic.
Archaic is a good word. They're very... It's very archaic in the way how it flows. Its combat style. It's very old hat.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a worn out hat, but it's still something I wouldn't take out to a fancy dinner. I actually had a talk with someone about the Souls series, and he kind of said that the way the games are played are how do I put this? I don't want to misquote him or anything. Basically, he said that the Souls combat system is not that good.
It's not at all.
Huh?
Personally, and this is the thing. The biggest reason why I'm so critical on the Souls games, like martial arts and stuff, is because the combat is absolute trash.
True.
But here's the thing, though. I personally think that with innovation, it could be better. Like, for example, Bloodborne, right? Just looking at Bloodborne on an animation standpoint, right? Weapons not only have alternate forms, but they also have different animations for backstep, running attacks, depending on how you dodge. Strong and heavy attacks for different inputs also are different. So the fact that weapons can have extensive movesets, and also when you count on top transforming attacks, and when you have like a two-handed weapon, how they have alternate the fact that the weapon combat system could be made more extensively, but it's just basically R1 smash the game roll.
That's true. I love the Souls series. I love them.
Like, personally, if you were to ask me to make a Souls game, like, type of thing, I probably would make it limited on weapons, not gonna lie. Like, with Bloodborne's philosophy of, like, far weapon.
Quality over quantity.
Yeah. Extend the weapon movesets, but also I would do the thing where all weapons, like, would have multiple damage. Like, you know how some, they have thrust and, like, standard. I would make it so that weapons had blunt, like slashing, like all different types of damage type to help them deal with different enemies, as well as to mix up the combat.
Maybe also, how do I put this? Maybe also a bit of, maybe like different stances, like when Neo did. But I'm critical of it because I don't like it because when I'm in a frantic battle, the last thing I need to know is what position, I had my complaints on Neo, and I did try replaying it a bit from the beginning. But I feel like the flaws in that game were a bit too much even for me.
See, yeah, no, I'm definitely cautious when thinking about, because I think Neo had an interesting idea with the stances with different weapons, which extended a lot of the movesets, but yeah, there's just a lot to think about if making something like that.
Yeah, the thing is that I swear in some hits that I could never figure out the hit, like, I can pretty much figure out the hitboxes and the bosses after a fair few attempts. Don't get me wrong, but I can easily know when to dodge and whatnot after I give it a few attempts. But for Neo, no matter I couldn't figure out which had the better hitbox frames, the low stance or the mid stance. The high stance was always the slower one, so I didn't go for it. I always thought that the low stance, because it was faster, actually had the faster hit was actually the best one for dodges. But I got hit more often because I couldn't seem to miss. Because I seem to have mistimed the hits on the thing.
Yeah, I couldn't really tell you too much. I only played Neo 1. I haven't really played Neo 2 too much.
I'm talking about Neo 1, and that was my
Neo
issue.
1.
That was my issues. I couldn't figure out the hitboxes, and having multiple options, I couldn't. I tried to try different stances at different times to see what works, but I always got the same results. And I swear all the time that I dodged the attack right, and the game just missed it.
See, Neo seems pretty interesting when it comes to like dodging and stuff. If you watch most people play it, they usually play some overpowered build and like cheese the boss. I think that's what Neo wants you to do, quote unquote. Like supposed to build some like.
It's not fun if I've got to cheese. Look, if it's going to be a hard boss and this is my 50th attempt, fine, I'll cheese it. But I want to just have it know it's just my pure skill that I'm able to win me the battle, not cheese the boss to highway and back. That's just me. What? It's just me.
No, you're not wrong for thinking that. I mean, that's just my experience when I was playing Neo. Yeah. I had to be like, okay, what's some overpowered like ninja Omnio build I gotta like put on to like.
Look, the people will say, "Oh well, Sekiro is about trying exploiting weaknesses and cheesing the boss." But and I would counter saying, "Well, yeah, that's part of the game. You have multiple ways of dealing with the boss. You could try different shinobi tools to basically weaken the boss or exploit their weaknesses. Like, for example, the bull. It's weak to loud noises, so use the firecracker. But the thing is, that was a mechanic built into the games. But Neo, it just, like... How do I put it? You're just going to have to cheese the damn thing to win. I know people who've beaten the bull enemy without even using a single firecracker. I hate the boss, but I applaud them. Like for Gnome, that big lion electricity cat thing boss from Neo.
The Raikou, something like that.
Yeah, that thing. I could never figure it out. Its attack patterns. I could never figure out. I could never figure it out when it's hit, when it's dodging, or when it's good time to dodge or to hit.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. I don't remember too much. Like, I remember with Neo, I just got like a friend who was like high leveled and like overpowered, and he just cheesed the game for me. I couldn't really speak much on Neo.
I think I did the same thing a lot of times when I played Neo. I just summoned the strong. I just waited for a powerful guy to pop in, and he did most of the fighting, and I did nothing. Look, in the Souls, in the Souls, I could at least do something like, draw aggro and take on a bunch of his enemies. But he was doing most of the thing, and I didn't use that silly talisman that slows enemies down because I'm not going to cheese the boss to win. I'm not going to cheese. I'm going to play this fair and square. But it punishes you for doing that.
Yeah, you're supposed to cheat.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, Sekiro, even though you have the prosthetic tools, what is interesting is that they're not so broken or overpowered that you can't like just straight up 1v1 the boss with just your sword and win with nothing else.
You can use different tactics, like for example with the bull, the bull, use the firecrackers, but it has a stagger cooldown time where you can't spam the damn thing. You can, or what's a good boss, or even Gob, the first boss, Gob.
Gyobu, Masatako Oniwa.
Yeah, he shouts it better. But Gyobu, it's like, okay, he's basically a guy that rides on
a horse.
A horse, and so you think, okay, got the firecrackers, use that to basically increase his posture bars, give him a few hits, wait for the right time, but keep on your feet. Or Inshin. There could be more. Sure, you could use. Most people say use the prosthetic axe because that's what deals the much amount of staggering, and I agree with that much. But you still can take him on hit one-on-one. I've even used. I even saw some tricks when people, the mist. Man, it's been ages since I played Sekiro.
The Mist Raven.
Mist Raven. There was this little trick I saw that when he does the Tomoe strike, you can use the Mist Raven to jump into the air and strike him back.
Yep. Now people just use the Sakura dance for it.
Of course, because the Sakura dance is OP as hell.
Like, I mean, I guess that's your reward for beating Inner Genichiro. Inner Genichiro is, if you ask me, Inner Genichiro is my favorite fight in the entire game. And that's the DLC fight.
Free DLC, mind you.
I was about to say, free DLC fight.
And I wish people would I wish other companies would take note what's From did. A big free update with reused that basically they didn't even charge you money for it. All you needed to do was just basically have a copy of the game. I wish more companies would do that, and I think this is one of the examples where From is the good companies.
Yeah.
Let's hope I don't jinx it and we find out that Elden Ring has microtransactions in it.
Come on, we gotta hope that From's not that bad. We know Demon Souls Remake kind of had a little moment where it was like,
but that was not made by From. It was made by
Blue Point, yeah.
Blue Point. And so if Miyazaki was at the head point of that series, he wouldn't have this nightmare of these pre-ordered weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, again, Dark Souls 2 did have them, but they were added.
So you could unlock them,
or they were
in game,
or they were added on in DLC later.
No, I was supposed to say you could get those weapons you got in Dark Souls 2. You could get them in the base game just much later.
Fair enough. So at least there's something in that note. But yeah, this was.
And even then, the DLC for Dark Souls 2, you could join people in some DLC areas to get some DLC weapons.
Actually, I remember playing Dark Souls 2. I didn't buy the DLC for Dark Souls 2 because I didn't like it, so I wasn't gonna waste $30 on the DLC. People hate me because I rave about DS3, DS2, and I'm still in the firm camp that it's the black sheep of the family. And despite what people think, I hated that I dislike Dark Souls 2. I wanted to love Dark Souls 2 after playing Dark Souls 1, but because of how bad it is, I just didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't hate the game because it's trendy. I hate the fact that I hate it.
Yeah, personally, if you ask me, there's only a handful of things I like about Dark Souls 2. The DLC areas, power stancing, and build diversity, and in terms of how much weapons and armors you have. That's about it. Everything else, I can't really say.
The spam, the boss, the mediocre bosses. The fact is that
hitboxes are atrocious. Not even Look, all From Software games have atrocious hitboxes, but Dark Souls 2 is extraorinarily.
But even
apparent.
then, Dark Souls 3 actually had some of the best hitboxes in the game because I've actually seen pictures of where people what the Artorias spin attack? I think it was that one, where basically he kneels down.
Mm-hmm.
I literally saw people use Shaw and Arrow go literally right over the head and it didn't hit him. That's how good a hitbox is. Even Sekiro, even though I can play, it still had some pretty good hitboxes. Considering the combat system, it better had good hitboxes.
I know, was it Owlfather has some questionable ones.
Then again, the whole point that he's a
trickster.
And he's technically Miyazaki's favorite boss.
Really?
Oh, yes. I
could believe that.
Actually, I think Miyazaki said it somewhere that his favorite boss was Owl, a boss that uses trickery in a fight, and Owl's the only boss that does that. So, some of the bosses, but Owl is the one that uses it extensively.
Yeah, I was about to say, the only other bosses I could really think would be some of the other ninja bosses, but they're it's not to the same level as Owl.
Yeah, Owl is basically and I like Owl. I love his way. He just basically turns the combat system on your head for a little bit. In the first stage, he does this sort of pattern, but in the second stage, he just completely throws you off. When he does shuriken, he throws shuriken and then he throws poison. Good twist.
Mm-hmm.
So it basically means that I like it how it just basically means that when you attack, it just means you don't get too complacent. Because when you're going to go for the first round over and over and over and over and over again, you're going to be getting used to the first, basically, pairing all the shurikens or something.
Mm-hmm.
The second phase just basically makes you think, makes mistakes for getting too complacent, in my opinion.
Right. But I'm just mad that the part that I get so mad at about him in second phase is the fact that he's about to be posture broken and he's used the poison throw in order to put pressure on you so he can sit there and spam the posture restoration ability. If there's one, look, I understand some bosses have some cheat mechanics, but that is just so ingeniously enraging. Sometimes I just run at him and just ignore the poison just to whack at him. And if that punishes you too if he gets a good hit on you and you have to worry about healing and curing the poison. So
it's a good.
There's just it's an ingenious thing, I feel.
It's an ingenious use of the mechanics.
Yeah. Either you stay away and let him get off his little posture restoration thing, or you just get so upset you charge in and then put yourself at a disadvantage. But I guess you might win if he's already close enough to getting broken.
Still,
So it depends. It's a gamble.
It's always a big risk to doing that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I actually managed to get a new friend to play Sekiro after she wanted my opinion on it.
Oh, what'd she say?
Oh, she's let's just say she had a hard time the first time, but now she's getting it. It's really
I can imagine if you first start playing Sekiro, if you're not used to the FromSoft, like
Oh, she's never played a FromSoft game.
Yeah, if you're not used to the From Software way of like introducing you to a game, you getting curb stomped by Genichiro for the first 2 seconds is probably not the best way to.
She was having trouble with the ogre.
Oh gosh, the John Cena.
The first boss that all us Souls players have to go through. Well,
His name is John Cena. He's the second boss because there was like a commander officer dude just before him.
He's not that difficult once you understand the mechanics, but that guy literally when I did a replay through for the stream, I purposely just stopped before him so I could basically just go to the whole to the Ashina state in order to get the flamethrower early. It was not fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're gonna have much luck with that.
Honestly, it's just me, but the Harada States is one of my favorite areas in a FromSoft game. I don't know why.
Maybe I don't know why. Me neither, but it looks kind of nice. I think personally, maybe sometimes we'd have this sort of thing we like, but we don't know why.
Know why?
Yeah,
Not for sure it's because of the axe. Because I'm trying to think of reasons. One, because you get the axe, and when you get the axe for the first time, you start smashing through the shield guys.
That's always the fun part, honestly.
I think that's also the first time you fight one of those purple ninja guys, and I will admit, first time playing Sekiro, when the guy that jumps off the roof by where the Mist Raven is, he smacked me around so many times.
He smacked us all. It was a boss that you gotta bring your A game. And when I even though I played Sekiro and I know what to deal with that thing, it wasn't any easier.
Yes, honey.
Yeah. I don't really care much for Lady Butterfly. I mean, she's interesting. I understand, she's supposed to be some sort of illusion ninja master, so I understand that.
First time I played Sekiro, she gave me a good kickabout. I swear, she was like my second boss when I was playing Sekiro for the first time, and she absolutely trounced me. Wasn't fun, but now I know how to beat her. She's not that tough.
I'll say the sidestep. Spam the sidestep. Hit her in the sidestep.
Yes.
And then she doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, her AI is broken. That's the problem.
But I would say the best, again, I think the best, but even though I love Ishin, that's why I did my moveset thing on him. Don't get me wrong, I love Ishin, but I think, honestly, if you're asking me, Genichiro is the best boss in the game.
Ishin's the hardest. Ishin's definitely has the spot as the hardest boss in the entire game. But I can agree that the Genichiro is pretty cool. Especially
in terms of a narrative progression type of thing, because think about it, you fight Genichiro at the start, and he basically just trounces you. I mean, unless you already know the game and beat it, then you just slap him real quick at the beginning.
I know.
But from a narrative perspective, he's supposed to sit there and smash you into the ground and make you feel sad. And then you fight him in the mid game, where that's pretty much like the if you were to ask me, that's like the wall. Is if you can get past Genichiro. Because if you can get past Genichiro, you can pretty much do the rest of the game. For the most part. He's like that mid-game wall. It's like the Orange Scene and Smo type of fight. Where if you...
Go on, sorry.
If you can get past this fight, you can pretty much get through most of the other fights.
I probably am a little biased, but I still like Ishin more for its narrative. I like Ishin a little bit more because, also for his narrative reasons, because Ishin was basically the master of his time. The greatest swordsman to ever live. One of the greatest swordsmen to ever live. Who basically wishes to continue his grandson's wishes in protecting the land from his homeland from destruction. And I feel like it's like Gurman, in my opinion. That's like you're facing the master. A final battle, student versus master, to determine the fate of the story. So maybe it's just because I like maybe it's just because how it's like heck, the setting is almost identical to the final boss with Gurman, the final fight with Gurman. Honestly, just imagine if Genichiro and I'd like to think of it like imagine if
I'll give you that one.
what was the boss's names? I played.
What's that?
What was the final boss for Bloodborne? The technical one?
One Reborn. No, not One Reborn. Sorry. Moon Presence.
The Moon Presence was basically first, then you fight Gurman. So
no, you fight Gurman first, then Moon Presence.
I know, but I just kind of like to think that Ishin is the sort of reverse of that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's from what I see anyway.
Yeah.
Shoot, I'm just mad that Genichiro didn't ask for Wolf's and Kuro's help. Because Genichiro's, I want to be the Divine Heir's loyal warrior. I'm like, couldn't you just ask, I don't know, the Divine Heir and, because you essentially got some immortal dude and some dude who has an immortal ninja. I mean, I'm just saying, why don't you just use them to defend the nation instead of, like...
And honestly, ironically, it was actually due to Wolf's, what's the word I'm looking for? It was due to Wolf's actions that Ashina actually fell. Because while we're playing the game, we're basically just tearing down the defenses one at a time.
And that makes so it's easier for the purple ninjas in the Interior Ministry Brigade to go in and sweep through.
So, in an ironic, cruel twist of fate, it was us who basically was Ashina's downfall. And Genichiro... Go on.
But I was about to say, though, as much as we can blame Genichiro for it, I don't think we would have had that situation if Genichiro, instead of antagonizing Kuro and us, actually asked, because, like, realistically, what would Kuro have done? He's like, hey, can you help us with this? What do you think? Because Kuro, remember, Kuro's from Harada, so that's a sister clan for Ashina. So it's like, well, what is he going to do? Be like, oh, I guess I can't help you guys? Like, realistically...
I do think that Genichiro overreacted, and if he realized that if he could get Kuro on his side, Wolf would have basically followed along because he is loyal to Kuro, unless you chose the obey the father thing. But I doubt many people did that.
I don't think that's canonically what's supposed to happen, considering how ridiculous it is.
It is, but still, the point is that if Genichiro just asked Kuro for help, this whole situation wouldn't happen. But because Genichiro's desperation, per se, he wasn't thinking exactly clearly, was he?
Well, I mean, he was relying... See, he didn't even also have to rely on... Because he was, eating some dirt that made him, partially immortal in his troops, where they were, turning to ogres and stuff? I'm just saying.
Yeah, he was... he was desperate. He was literally...
Considering how powerful Sekiro gets by the end of the game, if he's able to match Ishin, who is the greatest swordsman of the time, really, if you're able to match and defeat that guy, just imagine if you got him on your side, and you're like, wow. Because remember, the Interior Ministry didn't invade Ashina directly because they were so afraid of how powerful Ishin was.
But Ishin was
just think about that for a second.
Was also getting weaker at his old age, so time was basically against Ashina's side. But again, but if they had Sekiro on his side, the Ministry wouldn't even dare to attack.
I was about to say, lol. Yeah, so guess what, guys? Yeah, that immortal ninja guy that we found, guess what? He's actually stronger than the greatest swordsman of our time, who was also aging. So, good luck trying to invade, because you won't be able to invade ever.
Well, but still there was the idea that Kuro still wanted to sever the ties of immortality, depending on which game you go for as well.
If that happens, then I guess, if Kuro's still obsessed with doing that. See, that's the thing, though. But remember, why did Kuro want to do that?
Because
Kuro only did that. Everybody else was going mad. Everyone else is so tempted by it. If everybody kept their head, right, and didn't care about being some immortal super soldier, like Al and Genichiro, I don't think Kuro would have come to the conclusion to separate the ties from it. That makes any sense.
Yes, and if Kuro was with Genichiro and the Ashina, Al wouldn't have been able to attack because it would have been too risky.
Yeah, Al wouldn't have... Yeah, Al... what would Al do? Because Al's an opportunist. He's not someone who would do something unless he felt it would benefit him.
And I doubt Al, even at his younger age, could match Ishin at his old age.
He could, no, because Al even points out that he doesn't think he could do it either.
So, we got the point. Yeah, Al's a deceitful fighter, don't get me wrong, but Ishin is far more skilled. Al can be use as much trickery as like, but in the end, it will be skill against skill to determine who's the better fighter. Agreed?
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
To truly love and be loved. Isn't that what we all want? This will change relationships.
You know, I give...
Hold on a second. I gotta move.
No worries. But like I said, this is still, but this is despite Sekiro's interesting story, I'm still dying to see Elden Ring, if we're gonna move the topic along. Oh, did you see the trailers?
Of the leaks?
Yes.
There's a lot. I'm blown away.
It looks fantastic.
Look, I think I'm gonna have a field day with that game.
I'm gonna have a field day myself when I get my hands on the game.
But do you think it's gonna be for PS4?
Yeah, it'll be for last-gen consoles. It'll have probably an update for next-gen. The game was announced before the announcement of the PS4. The original trailer had the PS4 and Xbox One logo on it, so it won't be like, oh, it's gonna be for last gen, but there will be patches for next gen, like how they did it for most of the other games.
Look, I'm just saying, if they do that, then truth be told, and this is gonna be quite honest with you. Like, I'm not like I'm gonna be upset. Like, realistically, you don't play a Souls game for the graphics per se. No. Yes, I think a lot of the games are pretty beautiful in their own right, but like from like a graphical like chug type of thing, I think Demon Souls is going to look better than Elden Ring.
Obviously, but again, that's the point that I get it. The reason why was that is because it had Sony's backing. Bluepoint had the entirety of Sony's funding and just basically, here's the money, go remake the game with current gens, every new remade soundtracks, give it the works. From tends to be a bit more conservative on their art designs and just more realistically budget. The only reason Demon Souls was sold like hot pancakes is because everybody and their grandmother was clamoring for a remake of that original game.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it that Sony could have risked more with Demon Souls because, it's Demon Souls. But...
So that's the thing. That's the sad thing about the Demon Souls remake. Most people only bought a PS5 because if Demon Souls was on the PS4, nobody would have. Like, I'm telling you. Nobody would have cared about the PS5 that much. I know.
I want to get a PS5 just to get Demon Souls.
Oh, once you get a PS5, try the Sony Directs, to get one. But by all means, I will go to the ends of the earth to play with anybody who wants help or wants to play, because I absolutely love that game.
Oh, I will keep up. We should get after this. I will ask you for your PSN name and I'll send your friend. Is that okay? After this, we'll DM.
That's fine.
We'll DM each other.
That's fine.
But yeah, I will. But still, I'm still wondering how is Elden Ring going to be like Sekiro, of a single player, or is it going to have multiplayer? And if they do that, how are they going to integrate into the open world? Because I'd imagine that'd be very difficult.
Because, I was about to say, because imagine doing invasions. Like, imagine, like, Skyrim open world, right? Having invasions.
They did do a mod. They did do a mod for that, but it's a mess.
But that's the thing, though. Think about it. Okay, you're playing Skyrim, and someone invades you, but since it's an open world, you literally can hide in a whole continent from the person.
It will be difficult unless the invader spawns near the player. But even then, you're gonna have a hard time finding them.
The only thing that I can think of, like, there's two possible options that I can give. One, it's not true open world. It's gonna be like how with Dark Souls, how it's like, divided in like subsections where like when you get invaded, it closes off certain areas. Or they limit invasions to like dungeon-esque areas where they're more contained, and so it can allow for that. If that makes any sense.
Well, from what I understand, it's going to be a fully open world game with horse travel, so I'm probably going to favor the latter option than the former.
In terms of like only specific dungeons, you probably can do invasions.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
That's realistically what they would have to do. Because just imagine invading somebody and they're on their horse, just like running across continent and like hiding in like in a rock. Or and this might also be, but this, I don't think they would do this because it takes away some of the mystery of PvP. If the invader gets like you know how in Dark Souls 3 when you like did some Covenant invasions, like there was a marker that would track the person you're trying to hunt.
I saw those things all the time.
So I would imagine if they're gonna do completely, if they weren't gonna like delegate it to just like dungeons in which like you get invaded, they could do it so like, oh well, you have a track. I mean, but that's an issue in my opinion because I think some of the most fun you can have in when someone invades you is like hide behind somewhere and ambush the invader back. But that takes away that sort of element of surprise. It's like, oh, he's standing behind this wall because my tracker told me he's there. And so like I know he's probably gonna like hit me with an ultra great sword as soon as I walk around the corner.
And then we've also seen the gameplay with thanks to the leaks. It's sort of more Souls-esque than Sekiro. So
yeah,
they're going back to basics on that one with a new flair to it.
I'm just trying to figure out how they're going to do these horses. I don't know how jank they're going to be.
Because horse combat's always been an annoyance in games, hasn't it?
Yeah, so I'm not very sure how... Like, imagine, like, PvP horse combat.
Maybe it'll be like dueling. First person to knock the other person's off the horse wins.
Right? So, there's just a lot of things to consider. But personally, if you ask me, looking at From's history with, like, balancing games and stuff, like, let's look at... So, Demon Souls was a mess PvP because it was just... There's just a lot going on with there. Mm-hmm. Dark Souls backstab fest. Dark Souls 2's PvP, there's, like, certain weapons, like Santir Spear, and, like, stuff that were just broken. And Dark Souls 3, honestly... No, what was it? Bloodborne? Bloodborne's PvP is an interesting mess. I mean, I know some people defend it, but...
I barely went. I barely went into the PvP because I did. The only place I always beat PvP was in the Hunter's Nightmare, but that was just to have a little break from the monster killing.
Right. Oh, was it Nightmare Frontier where they force invasions?
Yeah, the force
as well.
Oh, yeah, that one. Those are the only two areas where I purposely just get invaded because you know what? I've been slaying monsters. Why not have a little fun with monsters? But I also found it annoying at the same time. Like, come on! I just want to get through this area and fight the damn boss.
When you turn the game offline, I was say just be like, it was go to settings, offline, go through. Don't worry about it. Ring all you want, lady. Nobody's coming to save you.
And then get to the boss, go back online, summon players, then finish the boss.
Oh, freaking... I'm just thinking about... Because that area, because Nightmare Frontier had Amygdala. Amygdala wasn't too hard to get to. But Nightmare Frontier, that was a huge area. And then just to get to Mikolash. Mikolash is a special cookie. He's a special cookie.
He's a fun boss the first time, but after repeat playthroughs, he's more on the annoyance side than anything else.
Don't get me started. Like, what bothers me is I did was it a no level up run of Mikolash, and I had to cheese him by using poison, the poison throwing knives, because what happens literally when you drop down on the final part, the Call Beyond, like if one orb touches you, like you just die. Like it's just you're just so weak that it's like, oh no, him punching you kills you too. It's like, okay. Yeah, Mikolash was the hard. Like, let me tell you. When I tell you that on like no level up runs, Mikolash is the hardest boss in the game.
Is he really harder than Orphan? I have a hard time with that.
Yes,
really?
Orphan, you can parry him. Once you know the parry time, you can parry him, but you can't parry Call of Beyond. And Mikolash can just do a quick little punch and just kill you.
Yikes.
At least Orphan, you can see what he's doing and parry him. That's the only reason. But no, Orphan's still a pain. I'm not saying he isn't on no level up runs. Gurman, I don't know. I had fun with Gurman because I like fun. He's fun regardless.
He's a fun boss. Also tragic, if you ask me.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of ones I actually had a lot of difficult. Ludwig is still a monstrosity. Regardless.
Ludwig. I hate him at first. I love the guy now, but I still find him up there with the annoying side.
Yeah. His charge, the ceiling jump where he jumps up and lands on you.
And that's a one shot to hell.
Yeah. Yeah. Ludwig is just one of those, he's just one of those fights. I'm just gonna say that. Yeah, but then it makes so much sweeter when he pulls out the holy Moonlight sword and then
the sword that every From game minus Sekiro has ever had.
I'm not gonna lie. When he did that, when he did that, because think about that, right? Because this whole game, nobody really seen it. It's like, where is this, right? Well, everyone's like, oh, the Ludwig Holy Blade is the reference to it. You're like, oh, okay, I guess that's the case, right? And then you go through the DLC, and then you see that, and then you see the glow. You're like, what? Yeah, no.
We found the sword, the Holy Moonlight Greatsword. The sword that's basically might as well be the signature weapon of From at this point.
Because it is. It's in all their freaking games.
Except Sekiro.
Except Sekiro, yeah. But let me tell you, the Moonlight Greatsword in Demon Souls, it's an absolute beauty to use in terms of like the visual effects on it. If you ask me, even though I think that because Demon Souls just visually is just the best looking Souls game, if you ask me, I would say Bloodborne's my favorite interpretation, just how diverse the moveset is.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of like presentation of like visually, Demon Souls Remake is it looks like an absolute gem.
Oh, speaking of which, speaking of remakes, Nier Replicant actually got its remake released recently.
You said Nier?
Nier.
Oh, like the same thing with Automata, like that series? So was this like a prequel?
Yeah, no, well, it's hard to explain, but basically, it's basically Drakengard 1, Drakengard 3. Basically, the series, even I have a heart. I always make a joke without talking to the Drakengard fans, saying that I think, man, and I thought the Soulsborne series had the complicated lore.
Because so it's one of those types of things.
Yeah, you don't have to play all of the games to understand it because they're technically kind of separate, but it does help if you know the previous games. So basically, it's supposed to go Drakengard 3. Ironically, I'm getting Revenge of the Sith. I'm getting the prequels flashbacks when I say that. Drakengard 3. Drakengard 2 is not part of the main timeline because it's not canon according to the series. Then it's Drakengard 1. No, wait, it's Drakengard 1, then 2. Now I'm getting myself confused. It's supposed to be Nier Gestalt, but there are two versions, Nier Gestalt and Nier Replicant. Think of them the same game, but with different viewpoints, because Gestalt is with an older father figure looking after his daughter. Replicant is an older brother looking after his younger sister. In Japan, there were two versions. Gestalt was for the Xbox, Replicant was for the PS3. Then it's supposed to go Automata, and then there was the mobile game Nier Reincarnation, but I don't know where that fits in the timeline. See what I mean? Why it's confusing?
Look, I'm just gonna be like, Soul game, different universes. We live at that.
Yeah, but anyway, Replicant is supposed to be the remake of the version that the didn't get because it was a Japanese exclusive. So what people don't saying it's called even Yoko doesn't like calling it a remake, but it's a remake of the original Replicant. It's like the Demon Souls. It's just basically taking the original game and giving it a new coat of paint. Well, it doesn't. But then again, the director of Platinum Games actually directed the game's combat system. So I would say a new coat of paint with a new gear part in it. Because I played Drakengard 3 and the combat. Let's just say if you think Demon Souls is clunky, Drakengard 3 is clunkier.
It's worse, yeah.
And that's something I said that I never thought I'd say up loud in a stream. Yeah. It's just... I'm tempted to get Replicant and play that one to see what the hullabaloo is about, because I played Automata, I enjoyed it, but it's the idea that I don't enjoy the idea of playing a JRPG where I'm just playing as some pretty boy. I just don't like the idea of playing as a pretty boy and a pretty boy protagonist for some reason. Then again, speaking of JRPGs, would you say that the whole Souls series are JRPGs, or more closer to Western style RPGs, or in its own unique category?
That's a good question. Technically, I guess JRPGs, just by virtue of they are Japanese role-playing games, just by technicality, but they do play more like Western games because that's the inspiration, I think, is for it to be like that. but then they're kind of their own thing because they kind of evolved into being their own genre now. So
Yeah,
it's really
Souls
all
genre.
the above.
So maybe it's a combination of more Western mixed with a sprinkle of JRPG in a with a new side dish.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have
Because
to-
I mean, if you become your own genre, then like if you're just called the Souls genre now, like is that even? Does it even count now?
I don't know. Like, I talked with some people about this. I've talked to some people about this, and they can't make up heads or tails of it either. But going back to the Nier series for a second, I don't know. This is okay. I'm a little worried for the game that this might not sell well because Gestalt and Replicant are one of those cult classics, if you know what I mean.
So, like with Demons, because like Demon Souls was a cult classic before.
Yes, but the thing is, the Drake and Nier series never made it to the mainstream. The Souls, they made mainstream new. They've made it to the mainstream to the point that everybody and their grandmother is copying the formula, basically. The Drake and Nier series, they're very niche in a lot of ways. I enjoy it, but then again, I'm very weird. You know. Android's not 2P's, notwithstanding.
So you don't think more people are going to get it because it's more
obscure?
Its own thing.
It's
obscure.
It's more. Don't get me wrong. Automata really did push the series into the forefront because you know why? Do I need to explain it?
2B.
Correct. But also with its gameplay and its music and its story, but what I think would make it that's more not much of a sell and might just be okay is again Demon Souls didn't make it because of how it wasn't properly marketed. It only became a cult classic only through word of mouth. But for me, I'd never heard of the Drake and Nier series till after I played Automata, and then I was interested in the series. So,
and that's only if you stuck around after that.
And that correct. So I'm in the camp that I feel like the remakes will do fine. They're not going to flop in any way, but I don't think this is going to be something that's going to hit the mainstream like Souls did. I don't think there's going to be people saying, "Oh, this is an Automata clone" or anything. Well, actually, scratch that. There is actually a game made by a Chinese developer that's copying Automata, and it has Taro's blessing, apparently. But that's just the case that it's just copying what made Automata popular, like female characters and an open desolate world, and the basically combat. Then again, you could say that Souls did it, but I think it also had a good little story. And I'm gonna get some hatred for people saying, "Well, Automata has a better story than Souls," and I just think it's more. And this is the problem where I have the issue where yes, it's got a good story, but I feel like with the Souls games, you don't have to. It helps that if you played the previous games. Don't get me wrong. If you played like 1 and 2 before you play 3, it makes a little more sense. But the third one does enough good explanation on the past 2 games. Well, mostly Dark Souls 1. So that you don't have to play the first one and be confused. Automata does a little nudge references to the previous games that I think most fans would have glossed over. Like, I didn't know a thing about Automata and why was this. It just talked about aliens invading and whatnot, an endless machine between androids and machines. But I had to actively dig into the series to understand it. Sure, with the Soul series, you have to dig into it, but in the context, you can look what's given to you in 3 and just deduced from there. Sorry if I'm talking about. Sorry, I'm blabbering on a little bit.
It's fine. You're fine.
I'm just like again, and this one issue that I was realizing when I was playing Automata, it does take a few elements from Souls and how it tells its story. Item descriptions in the background and more environmental storytelling. Now, I'm not against that. I love cinematic. I've had an interesting relationship with the cinematic games these days. I think I'm more forward to Souls, more Souls-like storytelling, but I still enjoy a good cutscene good cutscene.
See, I think Sekiro did a pretty good job because Sekiro's story is more on the nose than like the Soul. I mean, sure there is item descriptions that help with like going more in detail, but I feel like
You can, as long as you pay attention to the cutscenes and like pay attention to the dialogue, you can pretty much get like pretty good gist of what the story is for Sekiro.
I think remember, Miyazaki was more hands-off on the series than with his previous works.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be explaining why it's not so obscure like his previous works. Directed by
that's another thing. Sekiro, I'm actually surprised, what was it? Bandai, what was it? No. Who was it? Activision did that, and I am still to this day baffled that Activision had a good part to play and it still turned out as well as it did.
I'm surprised. I was surprised that they didn't put microtransactions in the game. That was a surprise.
The fact that they gave free DLC for that.
They didn't charge us. They didn't charge us $5 for it.
I'm still amazed to this day. Because I remember people were kind of scared that Activision were going to ruin it. And to be fair, Sekiro for a game handled by Activision, it's still I really like. I'm trying to think of any negative things I have to say. The only negative things I can say about Sekiro is I wish that the prosthetic tools were more like
useful.
Yeah, and because most prosthetic tools have like one or two functions. Like, with the axe, I can slam axe in person's face, or I can spin my axe.
Or like the spear is also. I feel like the spear commits the greatest sin of all. I only use it against the guardian ape.
I was about to say the only other times you can use it is I can rip off the armor of like those like big pudgy dudes. That's like about the only other time I can really think of using.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, it's so obscure. Its best function is against guardian ape, but that's the thing. The prosthetic tool, what do the spears do? I poke you and rip something off of you. What else do I do? Some spears spit. I mean, I wish that the prosthetic tools could do more. Because again, they're usually like one or two like dimensional in terms of what you can do with them.
You might just use your sword.
Yeah, and that's not but that's the thing though. Personally, as someone, I personally prefer to just like hit things with sword until it dies. I enjoy the back and forth more than prosthetic tools. That's just me personally.
I do. I can actually agree with that. The fact that when you're playing Sekiro, it's like the best way it's like a tug of war. Like it's basically it's like a really big tug of war.
Like the back and forth exchanges with the sword, I don't know. I enjoy that rhythm more than watch me fight. No, and I'm not saying I don't enjoy this when like people use like the snap seed, fistful of ash, and like death kill. Was it jumping death kill?
On the corrupted monk.
The corrupted monk. Like I'm not saying that doesn't take skill, and I'm not saying that's not impressive, but
it's a lot of hard work for just doing one little thing.
Like, I prefer just to straight up fight the corrupted monk. Like, then that's another thing. Like, the more... Because I was playing through, like, the gauntlets to, like, just get the skins and whatnot. And one thing I could definitely say is that, for some reason, like... I would say I think I have a reason, but, like, I'm beginning to appreciate the corrupted monk fight more than I did when I initially played it.
The only reason I'm not going to do Owl's quest is because there's one boss in there that I will always fail.
What is it? A purple ninja?
No, the trial with it's the demon of hatred.
Oh, Cheese's butt.
I can't seem to get him. I cannot seem to fight him. I can't figure it out.
Oh, Cheese's butt. You know how to do the insta kill glitch where he just walks himself off a cliff?
I know that glitch.
Do that glitch. Just watch a video by someone who knows how to do it, and then just do it, and then you. Look, when I tell you, when you're doing gauntlet stuff, it's best to choose the bosses that you don't feel like dealing with like that. Just going to be straight with you.
I am continuously surprised that From didn't patch that out, knowing that people use it. I am still surprised that glitch is still viable.
I'm surprised. They're still... No, that's the thing. They patched one of the bull skip glitches, but I don't know why they kept the Demon of Hatred. Like, all they had to do was remove it so you can't scale that tower. That's literally all you have to do to remove that glitch.
But yet they still kept it in. I think they realized that if they'd be getting a hell of a lot of complaints if they realized that.
They probably were like, yeah, just let them have it. Just let the plebes have it. I would suggest learning that glitch because that glitch is a little bit difficult to do at first because you have to be able to do the jump because you have to jump
I know
up
the glitch. I did the glitch when I first played the game because I said Screw fighting the boss because I just did the glitch and I don't feel bad about it at all.
Trust me, considering even if you do his fight normally, it's still long.
It's a
Like,
long fight.
I do not look. I'm not even upset at you for saying I cheesed him, because personally, if you ask me, if I learned about that cheese, I would have cheesed him the first time I beat him. I beat him. I'm not saying I haven't beaten him before and I can still do it, but I prefer to cheese him because it takes so long. Because, okay, yeah, you can use prosthetic tools and stuff to, like, wail on him pretty easily, but, like, he has so much health and so much posture.
And the fact that he's more like the cleric beast than any Sekiro boss.
Freaking cleric, no, he's like, gosh darn Lawrence up in here. He's like, and that's another thing. I think I might still have some, residual trauma from dealing with Lawrence on, like, New Game Plus 7. Because when I got to the DLC, so this is the thing. The DLC is not that bad in Bloodborne. I mean, yeah, no, Orphan of Co-Op, don't get me wrong. But the thing is, before I got to the DLC, I was on, like, New Game Plus 7 on Bloodborne because I played the absolute mess out of that game. So I'm sitting here in the DLC, New Game Plus 7, and Lawrence steps on you when you die. You're like, okay. Like, that's the thing with these From Software games. You're not supposed to be, like, I know they do that because I guess it makes it harder, but you're not supposed to be playing some of these areas in, like, New Game Plus 7. Like, Orphan of Kos. I still shudder to this day thinking about New Game Plus 7 Orphan of Kos.
Oh, don't get me started.
He, like, looks at you.
He looks at you, go, Bobby.
Like, oh my gosh. And think about it, that's my first experience with the DLC. Ludwig, oh my goodness, why? Orphan of Kos, oh my gosh, why?
Lady Maria, Lady Maria, waifu of the series.
Yeah, Maria. Okay, that's the thing. Maria New Game Plus 7 is not bad. That's the part that
I think she's still. I think honestly, as much as I love Maria, I think the reason why Maria isn't that bad is that she's cheesable, just like any hunter battle.
Yeah,
you can get her timing. Oh, don't get me wrong. Her third phase, if you don't time those hits just right, you can kiss
the freaking long range, the freaking long range poke she does. Like, if you don't know, if you don't frame perfect dodge that or parry that, you're gonna get luck. And because Demon Souls Bloodborne has critical damage, so if you mistime the dodge, you take twice the damage. It's a one and then die. It's a one shot. Yep.
Don't get me wrong, Maria is a boss that I absolutely love in terms of her design, in terms of her lore, and despite the fact that I think every time when she does a critical attack, I like to think she kisses you on the cheek.
Whoa there, yeah, lots of turning you. But no, I also think that the reason why I think Maria is easy, I think it's because it's so juxtaposed to all the rest of the bosses you have. Like, outside of the living failures, like, what do you got? Like,
lets me think. You got a basically an infant great one with a bad temper tantrum, and basically can one shot you if you're not going to be 100% accurate.
Yeah, you got Lawrence, who is just cleric beast on.
Oh, I hate Lawrence. I only actively fight him if I want to get the I only fight him with new characters if I want to get the damn mark. But if I have to, I completely avoid him when I can.
It's like, I only fight you if I want to do, like, a Beast Claw build and get that ruin to, like, change the moveset. Yeah. Other than that, there's no point in touching you. And then Ludwig. We all know Ludwig. Like, we already went on about him. We already know what he's about.
I think Ludwig.
But, like, yeah.
I think Ludwig has actually some of the best music in this game.
No, I'm not going to complain about the music. I'm just looking at his boss fight. Imagine New Game Plus 7 Ludwig. He just, like, you walk in the gate, he does that screaming charge, and if you don't, because that's the thing, you have to, like, listen to what he's doing. Like, he makes grunts based on what he's going to do, and that's how you read him. But if you have no idea what any of it means, you just get charged and die.
I feel sorry. Like, I feel sorry for deaf players. They're not gonna tell the difference between his attacks.
Yeah.
No offense to deaf players. Go keep playing. I'm just saying I feel sorry for you.
Yeah, I was about to say, because those are some of the biggest part. That's another thing with, like, Souls, is that the sound design is actually a very important part of, like, because, like for example, you could be walking somewhere and you can tell if somebody's behind a corner if you can see, like, the enemy, like, breathing. Like for example, like what's that place called? Upper Cathedral, where
yes.
there's all dark. You can hear the werewolves breathing and walking, their claws
honestly,
clicking on the ground.
If I had to make a top 10 areas of game areas I'm afraid of, that place would take number 1.
Look, the only thing that makes me that keeps me alive when going through that area is that freaking door you can cheese the wolves through.
I try to actively avoid that area as well, unless I kill Queen Annalise or something. But
When you want to breed us.
Yeah.
Breedus is
for a main game boss, she's pretty difficult.
Breedus is one of those bosses, when I think about a Breedus, I hold her to the similar level as I hold Midir and Calamite. I hold her to what are they called? They're not called Elder Dragon. I know that's a Monster Hunter. They're called
Ancient Dragons.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I played so much freaking
no worries.
Monster Hunter that I get it. I sometimes call the Dark Souls dragon Elder Dragon.
Ancient Elder, same thing, different meaning. Same thing, different words.
But realistically, in Monster Hunter, the Elder Dragons serve pretty much similar niches as the Ancient Dragons do in Dark Souls.
I think
in terms of being the penultimate creatures of the universe.
Now it just makes me wonder. Do you think it just makes me wonder? Will From work with Capcom on a crossover? Maybe we'll see maybe we'll I don't know, have an event where basically the hunters have to kill an ancient dragon.
Now I'm just trying to think what bosses would work. The only ones that I could think of, they already did Fatalis, so I don't think they'll do Calamite. Just by virtue of because Fatalis is kind of Calamite's basically Fatalis Light. Look, don't get me wrong. I like what was it called? Calamite and all, but Fatalis is just Fatalis. I can't.
Well,
you can't.
I'm not playing Monster Hunter. Maybe I doubt the humanoid bosses would be good because I doubt you want I'm just going to say Hunter. Hunter. Fight Gale or something. That wouldn't work.
But that's the thing though. They did a humanoid boss. If you know anything about the Witcher series, they did a crossover event. And they had the Leshen in there. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure the Witcher has other bosses or other animals they could use. But I don't know. Maybe the Gaping Dragon. The Gaping Dragon's not popular enough, I don't think, to be.
Maybe. What we think. We could do We could do the Nameless King.
The Storm Drake. The Storm Drake probably could work.
Yeah, the Storm Drake. Vort could theoretically work.
That would be interesting. Vort would be interesting.
The Dancer, maybe?
I don't know. I don't know. I think people are just going to be looking at her butt the whole time.
The thing is, again, it's as much as I like the idea, the problem is, the aesthetics are completely different because Dark Souls is a dark fantasy with the themes are also completely different because it's about trying to. I always like the themes I always go for is just basically trying to either prolong the inevitable, to go against the current forms, or just accept fate for what it is. So again, I'm always hoping maybe they'll do Bloodborne.
Bloodborne has the most to pull from. Cleric Beast, pretty easy. No, one thing I think would do probably decently well is was it Lauron Dark Beast? Or Watchdog. What's that called?
Watchdog of the Old Lords.
Yeah, that most of the beast enemies or the elder, what are those old ones could do pretty well. A Breedus, I think, could be pretty good.
And we have the issue of those hunters going mad.
Yeah, imagine adding that a new thing, a new status element where you get frenzied. That would shape up some things.
I think. And then again, we'll have the Monster Hunter fans on one end complaining that this is just making this game more annoying.
I mean, to be fair, okay. So, what was it, Monster Hunter? In Monster Hunter World, they have the Leshen. Everyone complains about the Leshen fight, and they have the Behemoth from Final Fantasy. and everybody complains about that one too.
I think true, but then again, there's the issue. Oh, maybe the issue is if I like the idea that if you've got a Bloodborne save, you can actually link it up to your Monster Hunter save for a little bit, so your character actually goes to the Monster Hunter world. That would be cool.
Like cosmetic wise,
Yeah.
so like a skin for your armor and weapons. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, like for not that, like no, not that, or maybe like for this, like basically basically Monster Hunter reads the Bloodborne save file, and you can choose save, but you got multiple characters. You can choose one character, and then that character pops into the game.
Right. I know something like that happened with me. I was playing Code Vein, Anime Souls, and my wife was playing God Eater 3, and then I don't know how she did it, but she got my costume that I was wearing in Code Vein on her character. And I was like, what? How'd that happen?
But then again, they're made from... Then there's the issue, but there's this main issue.
They're made from the same person, so it's same company, so it's pretty easy to port stuff like that.
But since From and Capcom are two different companies, and I doubt Sony wants to have the little baby, and I doubt From would like to have the little baby mixed up with another game. Yeah, Witcher 3 worked because Garrett is an established character. The Hunter is not.
Yeah,
it'd be cool if the Hunter character can actually interact with the Monster Hunter crew. It'd be like saying and they have dialogue choices like in Skyrim. That would actually be pretty cool. That would actually be pretty cool in my opinion. But the likelihood of that happening is slim to none in my opinion.
Shoot. I mean, I don't know. Maybe From might go in that direction because think about it. Elden Ring is a collaboration with Game of Thrones writer Martin over here, so maybe From's dipping their toes in this idea of collaborating with other creative people.
And anyway, so that the issue is that then again, if Capcom's decided to lift a lot more from Bloodborne for their recent Resident Evil game, didn't they?
Yeah, I could recognize that artwork from a mile away. Like that was literally, hey man, can I see your homework? Yeah, don't copy it. Okay.
Yeah, Capcom. So hey, that gothic Victorian game that's a horror game but not a horror game is really popular among these people. Let's copy that game and let's see how people react to that. And then lo and behold, everybody thought, hey, those werewolf enemies kind of look like familiar. Hey, those villagers look kind of familiar.
Yeah, it was so on the nose.
And sadly, I think From Bloodborne was missing one thing.
What?
A giant lady with basically with people who basically have a BDSM fetish. I'm gonna be demonetized for this.
Oh well, I mean, I guess we got Maria and
yeah, but she's not like how tall?
That
she's not tall, if you know what I mean, and very well.
She's not what's the word? Let me try to say this G rated. Gifted.
Definitely a good word. Yes, gifted would be a safe word because I don't know what Capcom were thinking when they made basically Resident Evil 8, Resident Evil 8. But I guess they just were trying to hope to get in more crowds with the Bloodborne crowd because, that was really popular.
Shoot. There's one... speaking of Bloodborne, let me just tell you something. I'm really mad at Bloodborne. Like, they must be doing something with it for the PS5 because the PS5 port on Bloodborne is embarrassing. It's not even, like... It's just... Okay. Like, let me tell you something. Okay, PS5, Demon Souls remaking the original PS3 from the ground up in more beauty. Okay. Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, Sekiro. Upscaled graphics, and better frame performance. All perform at 60 frames versus 60. I mean, sorry, versus 30. Bloodborne, lol. Look, I Bloodborne is absolute garbage on PS5. I'm not saying I hate Bloodborne and I love it. It's one of my favorite games of all time. But Bloodborne on PS5 is an absolute...
I think the reason why they're doing that is because of the old they're going to remaster it for the PS5 just to squeeze out that money from the Souls community.
And I'm going to buy it.
you know what? I'm going to be buying it too.
I'm not gonna act like I'm not gonna be a sucker for it. I don't mind going again for that.
I'm gonna have to agree with you, my friend, because I know I'm gonna buy. I bought the Dark Souls 1 remake, so I'm remastered. I'm a sucker for it.
Dark Souls 1 Remastered was also a joke.
I know it was a joke, but frankly, besides, I don't think they need really upscale it for PS5 because it was already playing at 60 FPS.
Yeah, even on PS4, so
yeah.
It looks slightly better, but like nothing to like cry about.
It's still it's the warts and all. It's just a remaster of the original warts and all. Didn't fix Demon Ruin. Didn't fix the. Sorry, I just got.
They added a bonfire by Vamos.
Yes. But yeah, going back to Bloodborne, we know they're gonna just basically announce Bloodborne Remastered, and they're gonna sell it for $20, and then we're gonna all flood to the stores, get the remastered, then we're gonna be playing Bloodborne all over again. And
they're complaining about how things didn't change, but then again, realistically, Bloodborne doesn't need too much to change. Like, if you were,
it has a few flaws, but then again, I still love the game for flaws and warts and all.
Personally, if you ask me, Bloodborne out of all the From Software, the modern From Software games, I think it has the least amount. I think PvP, if they were to like touch PvP to make it like something,
better connection
then
speeds, because we can all agree that the connection speeds in Bloodborne was horrendous.
Oh my goodness.
I swear, I was like rigging one guy, I was waiting like 10 minutes for us to connect, and we literally had the same passwords. But then again, it was so random. Sometimes we connect quickly, other times it took like 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah, no, that's another thing. Bloodborne Co-op and Bloodborne, like, I applaud Bloodborne for being the first game in the series to add the password matchmaking system to play with your friends. I applaud Bloodborne for that. But, oh my goodness. If you play Dark Souls 3 and like you do the password matchmaking, it's like instantaneous. You find your friends.
Because I feel like the system works better with the White Soapstone than the Blim Bell system, because you can actually see you can actually see the stones, and when you're basically waiting for someone else. You know what? Why don't they just try adding, like, for example, like you ring the bell and then you got like phantoms of other people's and you can pick whatever one. Why not do that?
Wait, change that so instead of like having bells, you just choose like you ring the bell, but it leaves a sign like on the area, and the people can pick up the sign.
Like this, like basically like the bell. You can see the shadows of the people, and they're moving about, but you can still like say, "Here, I'll summon you." And then when you add a password, it just removes everything and just makes you two people, and just basically that would have been a good compromise, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the reason... No, I'm trying to think of why they did the bell system as they did. I think they're trying to do the idea of kind of, like, seamless... Like, you know, people, like, actually... Like, instead of visiting your world, like, everyone's in, like, this big world, and, like, people are drifting in and out.
This is sadly not an MMO, and I think Remnant did it better playing it.
Uh-huh. But, you know, but yeah. It's definitely something.
Now I'm just waiting. So we've had a Souls-like FPS, and a Souls-like third-person shooter with Remnant. We've had basically Souls-like roguelikes in every form of venture. We've had Souls-like 2D Souls. Am I missing anything from this list? Because I feel like, let's see, Souls-like turn-based combat. Anyone?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, don't give them any ideas. Oh, speaking of Souls-likes and clones, guess which is getting a sequel that I thought would never get a sequel?
What?
Lords of the Fallen is getting a sequel.
Oh, that one. That game was...
horrible.
Absolute garbage. Oh, look, I have a guilty pleasure enjoying Lords of the Fallen, but I will tell you, Lords of the Fallen is an absolute booty cheeks game.
It was technically the first. Technically, it was the first Souls clone, so it was not going to exactly be an overnight hit. But my goodness, when you're playing Souls, like, okay, it tried to do a few things differently, like with the character and the dialogue boxes. But for God's sake, there's a reason why Souls didn't do that, and plus the combat's no better. It's even worse than It's even worse than Dark Souls, Demon Souls. The idea of basically no classes was like a brilliant idea, but not exactly good when the guy is over-designed to hell.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on.
God.
Come on.
The bulkiest armor, the bulkiest looking weapons, glitch. There's just so much with it. There's so many glitches, like, Did you see my review of it? Where like the end, I like glitched through the environment on like the boss fights.
Sadly, I did not. I'll check it out after this. But still, like seriously, like okay, like people can, how do I put this? Souls at least attempted to have somewhat realistic armor designs. Like with Havel's design is completely impractical or base.
Rock. I wear rock and chains.
Yeah. No, and practicality, but for most of the part, the other armor designs look perfectly even
reasonable, serviceable.
Even Artorias, I'd say, like the guy Metatron. He actually did a review on Artorias' armor, and he said it's pretty cool and somewhat realistic.
Yeah, really. I'm trying to think of any armors outside of Havel, like the Stone Guardian. Most of the armors are actually pretty good. Like, I can't complain about them.
I can't. You are the armor and weapon expert here. And speaking of which, I didn't get to say this personally, but thank you a while back for clarifying on the whole S-Tox versus Mace thing, because I always thought a good Mace would be good enough against armor opponents, but I guess an S-Tox could work if you wanted more precision attacks.
Mace. I'm not saying maces are bad.
Oh no, I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying. I always thought the Mace was
just a range thing. And it's all like, for example, like most people, they could not afford something that like that because S-Stocks are like very finely made. But S-Stocks are like, you just poke, like someone standing like 5 feet away from you and you just poke through their eyes. Like it's what was it? It's like a washing pole from Dark Souls 1 where you do the running poke. Like just imagine that in real life. That's basically what S-Stocks were.
Anyway, go on, finish what you're gonna say.
Oh, is basically the washing pole running poke spam the weapon in real life.
Anyway, guys, I think we're gonna cut the stream off today. It's 1:00 in the morning, and I'm gonna get a little tired. But I appreciate you guys joining us for this stream. If you're interested, please check out his channel. Links are down below as always. So do check him out. My Patreon is down below, so if you want to support me, Twitch and Discord. I'm currently, if I must repeat, I'm currently streaming Final Fantasy VII Remake on Fridays, 4:30 p.m. GMT time. So if you're interested, do check that out. And I appreciate it. Any final words, Green, before I cut the stream off?
All I gotta say is check out demonslice.com. I made a personal website specifically for it to share with people, and that's about it. Animated parody. Send you a link to it? Okay.
Send me a link afterwards. I'll leave it in the description. I'll edit the description and put it in there for you guys. For you.
Okay, thank you. But that's it.
No worries. Yes, thank you everyone for joining. If you're watching this stream, and if after this and you were basically watching this and not on streaming right now, I appreciate it greatly, everyone. As I always say, may the good blood guide your way, and have a nice time.
Umbasa.
Umbasa.